And so it does have this aspect of things to be concerned about. And you know, I've told you that since we formed this institute in June, all of a sudden we had people around us that started having things happen, and not all of it was rosy. Okay, so I mean, this is family members, myself, my staff, and none of this we expected. None of it we hadn't asked for anything, positioned anything, decided to do any of this kind of research. Our whole intention to begin with was simply trying to get ourselves up to speed in the literature. Excuse me. After being away from this for so many years, focusing on the space world, right? That's been mainly what I've been doing, except for the Skinwalker Ranch thing for 20 years, is the space world has been huge in my life to pursue. The legitimate parochial kind of, you know, using fire engines, rockets to get you there. So we didn't expect anything like this to happen, and so this Holy Grail is different than the second Holy Grail. If the second one being the ET is a little bit lower, and this first one, is there any part of your consciousness that survives your bodily death? That's a big deal. That's a huge story. That's gigantic. I also, I got very disturbed toward the end about something that happened to some of the government people. And I realized, holy crap.
Hitchhikers.
Well, yeah, that, you know, and so hitchhikers being that you take things home with you. Everybody took things home with them. I took things to my house. Things happened to my wife and to me, and different things. So everybody took things home. We all, you know, we did, but we didn't know that, gee, it was like going to be kind of permanent. You know, we didn't know that, you know, that it's going to stay with you for maybe for years and years or the rest of your life, who knows. But the ones that bothered me a lot were where anybody got hurt or really disturbed. And not that it happened on the ranch. It was when they left the ranch, as you say, hitchhikers, and these were government people, and affected them.
Very dramatic ways, though.
Very dramatic ways. Very dramatic ways. You know, and there's a cousin to that we're facing, but it's abated at least for now. And this other survival topic, right? Very dramatic kind of things that we wanted to have reduced or stopped. So, but going back to the government people, the buyer came along at the right time. I had decided I wanted to
take this off your plate.
Yeah, take it off my plate, tone it down, and if necessary, just lock it up and forget about it. And next thing I know, you know, the buyer comes along, and you know, the rest is history.
Before we leave this, though, the incidents that happened to you, to your wife, to Colin, to me, you know, you bring it home. How does everybody handle that? I mean, is it spooky at the time, and do you draw the connection that it's ranch related?
Yes and no. If the events hadn't happened very often prior to the ranch, then it's not ranch connected. But they did happen. And they did, where we lived with my wife and I. We had a poltergeist event one time that was really fun and very different, and that was before I ever acquired the ranch. My wife was a very strong, and probably still is, in spirit, person. And so she took them in stride. She had a full manifestation of a apparition, a human form apparition in the bedroom, and looking at her, And this was a holy cow. And she happened to tell me, kind of like, oh well, this is while you were gone. This is what happened here, a manifestation of this. I've heard this kind of thing many times through other people, and recently, and she felt the bed depress as there was a curiosity going on because of the facial features were distinctive enough to be able as though, who are you and what are you doing here, coming from the manifestation, from the apparition, looking at her. All right, and torso up was kind of what was manifested, and being able to see and feel the mattress being depressed as it's looking at you, wondering, who are you? That kind of look on the face. What are you doing here? You know, when usually you think it would be the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Who the hell are you?
Was she freaked out?
No, she wasn't. She would have there was a bar of light. So this was not normal in the survival research, but maybe in the ET that was between her pillows. A bar of light. It wasn't coming in from shutters or blinds or anything from the room or any kind of other light source. You could put the pillows down, and the bar would not be reflected on the surface of the object above it, on the second pillow. It only happened when you did this. And she did that and said, oh well. And then I said, well, what did you do? Well, I went to sleep. Went to